A Chinese manufacturer of robot dogs presented a robot arm with 6 degrees of freedom and a payload capacity up to 6 kilograms. It's designed to extend the robot's functionality and teach it to interact with objects around it, in particular to open doors. The robotic arm consists of 4 segments. At its end, there is a simple interchangeable gripper that can squeeze and unclench. The manipulator is able to detect collisions, so it can be used near people as well. The developers assure that the accuracy of the arm is about 0.1 millimeters. It will be available in 2 versions, which will differ in carrying capacity, up to 2 kilograms or up to 5 kilograms. The cost of the smaller version of the arm is about $6,600. The cost of the heavier one is unknown. In the presentation video, Unitree Robotics showed different scenarios of use, from serious to entertaining. Unitree Robots also made headlines on the cover of the Chinese version of Harper's Bazaar. The lens got a Robot A1, and as a yet unknown large model, which may turn out to be a new development or a moulage for shooting. The Israeli startup Air Robotics, together with the American ShotSpotter, unveiled a robotic rapid response system based on a drone platform. The station itself will send drones to the scene of a suspected incident if its systems recognize the sound of gunfire. ShotSpotter sensors are responsible for the recognition, transmitting information to a single system that analyzes loud pulsed sounds using machine learning algorithms. When sensors detect potentially dangerous events, they automatically send notification and geolocation data to the nearest police department, and it takes less than 1 minute from the moment the shot is fired to the time the alert is sent. With air robotic drones, the system will work even faster and more reliably, as it will send a drone immediately to the location in addition to the signal to the authorities. The Israeli Innovation Authority has approved a new Human-Robot Interaction Consortium, HRI, to be led by Elbit Systems C4I and Cyber. Scientists specializing in artificial intelligence research and behavioral science robotics will also participate. The goal is to develop an innovative interaction infrastructure in which humans and robots can work together, understanding each other. To do this, robotic systems must be familiar with the way humans communicate, verbally and non-verbally. Robots also need to be aware of all relevant social codes that can change the way humans interact. At first, research will focus on military applications, but then developers promise to expand the application of the new system into civilian spheres as well. Engineered Arts has released another video of its incredibly realistic AMEC robot. In the comments to the video, the company pointed out that the robot processes information from the video cameras in its eyes using a proprietary operating system TensorFlow and reacts to its surroundings. For example, it doesn't allow unnecessary intrusion into its personal space, but here, the company is probably being a little deceptive. Most likely, the processing of information allows the robot to catch the hand of a person accurately enough, but the action itself is probably directly programmed by the developers. We talked more about AMEC in the issue you can find here at the link. Engineers in Dubai have created a small autonomous A-seed robot for desert gardening. The bot is equipped with solar panels for charging during the day and to plant seeds at night. The body of the robot is 3D printed and it's equipped with ultrasonic sensors for orientation in space and special sensors to determine the fertility of the land. In other words, a seed bot itself understands where seeds can take root and grow and where they cannot. Journalists are already comparing the small robot to Valley Y, which can work for years to make life on Earth better. Finally, ideas about the connection between vaccinations and chipping have found a real implementation. In Sweden, they have created an implantable chip that stores information about vaccines. Epicenter's devices use near-field contactless communication and data that can be read from them using any gadget. The developers claim that the procedure of inserting the chip under the skin is safe and painless. The device is implanted into the hand, either between the elbow and the wrist, or between the thumb and index finger. It's possible to remove it in the future. By the way, office documents, travel or season ticket data, and other information can also be stored on the chip. As part of its annual holiday software update, Tesla implemented a new feature that will allow drivers to turn their cars into loudspeakers. The car can now play whatever the driver says through external speakers, with a little delay, echo, and, as tests have shown, strong low-frequency distortion.
Welcome back to Phones and Drones. Pretty cool new feature. Merry Christmas.
Remember that Tesla has previously allowed owners to change the car's signals to any soundtrack, as well as live streaming from the car's external cameras. But the opportunity to play video games while driving, Tesla decided to remove, so that drivers were less distracted on the road.
Over here, numbnuts. I am Megatron.
The Chinese company Ehang received the first order for the VT-30 long-range regional aerocab. The two-seat VT-30 regional vehicle will be able to cover up to 300 kilometers or stay in the air for up to 100 minutes. The first flight tests of the VT-30 have already begun and are expected in the very near future. The company also conducted demonstration flights of two-seated unmanned aerial cab EH-216 with a payload of 60 kilograms in Japan, awaiting approval for commercial flights in 2023. The flights were carried out in strong wind conditions where speeds were reaching 27 meters per second. And by the way, in China, commercial flights of EH-216 aircab is expected as early as next summer. The company expects to receive a certification from local regulators in the coming months. The EH-216 can carry up to 260 kilograms of payload and reach speeds of 130 kilometers per hour for a time of 20 minutes, giving a range of 35 kilometers for a full charge of batteries. Ehang's production capacity is capable of producing up to 600 EH-216s per year. NASA launched the James Webb Space Telescope, a 13.5 billion plus telescope that now flies away from Earth at 38,000 kilometers per hour. The telescope will be a replacement for the Hubble, and NASA scientists expect will look into the era when the first stars and galaxies formed more than 13.5 billion years ago. It will do this by collecting infrared electromagnetic radiation from distant stars and galaxies in the universe, allowing scientists to gain insight into objects that formed shortly after the Big Bang. It will also be used to search for extraterrestrial life, observe supermassive black holes, and much more. The James Webb Space Telescope is the most powerful space telescope ever created by man. It has a huge 6.5-meter mirror like no other telescope, and by comparison, the Hubble mirror is less than 2.5 meters in diameter. The larger the mirror means it can capture much fainter electromagnetic radiation. The new telescope will be dozens of times more sensitive than all previously existed and will be able to capture radiation from galaxies located at a distance of 13.6 billion light-years from Earth. James Webb's unfolding mirror is formed of 18 hexagon segments and coated with the thinnest layer of gold. During the deployment, the alignment accuracy of the segments should be 1/10,000th of the diameter of a human hair. The process of deploying all the systems of the apparatus will take about 2 weeks, and after which it will fly to its destination for another 2 weeks. The telescope will then fire its onboard engines to take its final position at Lagrange point L2, and NASA will begin testing its systems. If it all goes well, the James Webb Telescope will send its first spectacular images in the summer of 2022. Deep Robotics showed off a couple new tests of its robots. For example, Yuyang Light 2 learned to follow its master on a regular city street. You can see that the robot manages to avoid obstacles, but not immediately and very uncertainly. Similarly, the Yuyang X20 climbs steep stairs with 11 kilograms on its back. And remember that Deep Robotics aims to create the cheapest consumer robotics on the market. Hanyang Robotics is unveiling the new Snow Robot, which will soon go into beta testing with regular users. The Snowbot S1 robot can clear its way through snowdrifts up to 30 centimeters high. Using a hard rubber auger, the robot can clear 40 centimeters of snow per second, working for 1.5 hours without a recharge and shoveling snow up to 3.5 meters. All you need to do for the robot to work is mark the area you want it to clean by installing a rechargeable terminal and 3 perimeter beacons. Snowbot S1 is equipped with LiDAR sensors, which help it to avoid obstacles. In 2022, there will be a new intelligent video surveillance system in Moscow, which will be based on neural networks. The complex of 1,300 video cameras with infrared illumination up to 250 meters and 40-fold optical zoom will automatically record the incidents and instantly notify the appropriate services. The functionality of the new system is promised to detect intrusion of vehicles in the forbidden zones, to identify on the roadway debris, fallen out animals, parts of cars, and other objects that threaten traffic safety, including traffic jams and detecting smoke and fire of accidents. The Center for Quantum Technologies at the Faculty of Physics at Moscow State University and the company Infotex created Russia's first communications network based on the quantum cryptographic system of generation and distribution of keys VIPNet QSS. The University Quantum Network united 5 quantum devices on the territory of Moscow. The network distributes quantum keys to 20 subscriber terminals, and the maximum length of the channel Quantum Secure Communication UCS has reached 40 kilometers. The Moscow State Property Inspectorate announced that in 2022 it will launch a robot dog on the streets of the capital to detect violations of land laws and fight squatting. The robot will be engaged in photo and video fixation of streets. The low-cost A1 model from Unitree Robotics was chosen for the job. The robot has a GPS module and is equipped with light radar, which forms a 3-dimensional map of the space around it. However, it won't do much to ease the work of service personnel, as it can't work without a live operator following on its heels and controlling its every movement. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, and don't miss any new episodes from the world of high tech. Startup Mojo Vision unveiled a new generation of smart contact lenses at the show. The Mojo Lens focused on sports and fitness. The product is still under development, and the idea is that the lenses use a built-in display to show notifications, serve as a teleprompter, and even help people with low vision get around. At CES 2022, the company announced strategic partnerships with fitness brands such as Adidas Running and others to create an interface for athletes. Mojo Lens allows you to see information about your own achievements and physical condition parameters without the distraction of a smartphone screen or smartwatch. TCL introduced the second generation of its NextWear Air glasses, which allow you to view anything from your smartphone via a dual 1080p micro OLED display built right into the lenses via a USB-C cable. The design is meant to replace the effect of having a 140-inch screen right in front of your face, and the company claims that the new version is 30% lighter than previous versions and more comfortable to wear, as well as providing better color reproduction on the panels. Spatial sound is provided by speakers built into the temples of the glasses. Hyundai presented several interesting concepts and its own vision of the future. For example, the plug-and-drive module is a single-wheel self-balancing motorized board on which additional equipment can be installed. Thanks to the wheel that rotates 360 degrees, a camera and a LiDAR sensor, it can easily move and maneuver in tight spaces and the outdoors. Such a unit can carry medical equipment behind a doctor or a toolbox behind a worker. Hyundai also unveiled its personal mobility and L7 concept vehicles, which measure approximately 120 centimeters by 120 centimeters and hold 1 passenger. The former is supported by 4 14-centimeter PND modules, and the latter is mounted on one 30-centimeter PND module. They run for up to an hour and require 2 hours to recharge, but both can be operated by a joystick mounted on the right side of the seat. Based on the same 4-wheel platform, there's also the Logistics Mobility Module, designed to transport goods from warehouses, and a Services Mobility Module, which can be used for a variety of everyday purposes, such as moving luggage around the hotel. Hyundai Motor Group President Song Chang also spoke at CES 2022 about how the company, which owns Boston Dynamics, sees the future. The initiative is called Meta Mobility and involves the use of robotics as a real proxy for interaction with virtual reality. In the future, he said, users will be able to connect digital versions of robots to move freely between the real and virtual worlds. Robots will be able to replicate human movements and provide a so-called telepresence, just like in the movie Avatar. This will not only allow you to do your job in another country, but also, for example, to walk on Mars. Hyundai also believes that digitization will erase the line between time and distance. For example, the corporation described a scenario of interaction with a digitized home. Being away from their physical home, people will be able to interact with their digital copy through virtual reality. The American drone manufacturer Skydio announced a new version of its flagship consumer drone, the Skydio 2 Plus, at the exhibition. The quadcopter features 2 antennas and a 5 GHz Wi-Fi radio module for long-distance communications. With the new controller, Skydio 2 Plus Beacon Drone can fly up to 3 kilometers, and when coupled with the new remote control, range increases to 6 kilometers. The new battery provides up to 27 minutes of flight time in ideal conditions. The Skydio 2 Plus also has a brand new autonomous flight system based on artificial intelligence, which Skydio calls Keyframe. Keyframe looks like an answer to some of the automatic capture modes we've seen in recent DJI drones, but with more control offered to the pilot. The ultimate goal is to help you create smooth video while controlling complex flight patterns. Massage Robotics brought a motorized massage table with 2 robots to CES 2022. Both can be customized and have a variety of terminal equipment options. The robot arms are voice-activated and can respond to commands by moving left or right and increasing or decreasing pressure, according to the Massage Robotics presentation. The MR01 model robotic table will store your favorite massage treatments in the cloud. The company is also using artificial intelligence and machine learning to train robots to do what people like best. The company hopes to start selling its robots as early as the second quarter of this year. BMW presented a new all-electric crossover Chameleon at CES 2022. The iX model is capable of changing its body color in just a few seconds at the touch of a button on the remote control. But while electric cars can change colors only in a limited range, from white to dark gray and light gray, the car can also flash you different colors if you've lost it in the parking lot. The iX Flow technology is a coating that responds to electrical signals, and so far, the development is raw and very sensitive to temperature. But still, in the future, according to the company's reps, we will be able to see changing colors of our cars according to our mood. That's not going to look good in traffic jams. The British company Engineered Arts brought its sensational robot AMEC to CES 2022. The robot can maintain a conversation, but according to journalist reviews, it's not more interesting than a conversation with any smart speaker. But AMEC's reactions to the words and situations are truly fascinating. The robot's facial expressions are incredibly realistic and not repulsive. The robot's body is made of metal and plastic, and his face is deliberately sexless and non-human and gray. There are 17 separate motors in his head controlling his movements and facial expressions, but his facial features are surprisingly alive and emotional. And this combination of artificial and realistic worlds, according to developers, is what best fits the collective vision of what humanoid robots will look like in the future. Ameca is not the first humanoid robot released by Engineered Arts. Over the past 4 years, the company has created a line of realistic Mesmer robots, each designed and built from 3D scans of real people, allowing the developers to convincingly mimic human bone structure, skin texture, and facial expressions. However, Mesmer robots look much more sinister than AMEC with his transparent plastic skull. What do you think? Let us know down below. A very different kind of robot has been shown by the startup Labrador Systems. The Retriever looks like an elegant version of the autonomous mobile platforms common in warehouses and logistics centers today, and it claims to be a very useful home robot, especially for people with health problems. The system works via touchscreen, voice, or mobile app, and like a personal assistant, the robot can respond to certain programmed reminders, such as delivering specified items at the right time. The Retriever is autonomous and moves around homes using patented navigation systems that combine augmented reality algorithms with robotics to create 3D maps of the home. LG unveiled its latest series of autonomous robots. Chloe, the company's line of Wall-E doppelgangers, includes 2 models, the LG Chloe GuideBot and ServeBot. The Chloe GuideBot is an autonomous robot that can be used as an information booth, mobile advertising device, or security guard. When not in use, the GuideBot can be programmed to follow a specific route and activate a surveillance camera that will use the software to remotely monitor and communicate if something goes wrong. The hospitality industry can also use Chloe ServeBot, which is a self-contained stack of 3 shelves or drawers. Restaurant operators, healthcare workers, office managers, and retail outlets can program the ServeBot to travel a 3-destination route with a load of 17 pounds. LG also introduced the Vision Omnipod, a futuristic mobility concept designed to make the car a home. The 4-wheeled vehicle boasts many gadgets, including a large meta screen and an innovative dashboard display. Roborock unveiled a dream robot vacuum cleaner at the show. It washes, vacuums, and is self-cleaning. The $1,400 S7 Max V Ultra robot can vacuum and wipe the floor at the same time. But when it detects carpet, it automatically removes the mop. Rounding out the system is the Ultra's docking station, which handles automatic filling of the water tank as well as cleaning both the vacuum cleaner and the mop. All this in addition to charging it. The robot also recognizes and avoids solid pet waste. Another gadget from the show was the Prinker M, a portable mini tattoo printer that creates temporary digital, water-resistant images on people's skin. After 3 days, they can simply wash the tattoo off with soap. The printer is expected to go on sale later this year for $200. The French manufacturer Fos-Tis-H has introduced Y-Brush, a jaw-shaped toothbrush that can clean teeth in just 10 seconds. The gadget will probably appeal to those who are perpetually late in the morning. According to the manufacturer, the product uses 35,000 nylon bristles that are arranged in 45-degree angles, and the price of this gadget is $147. Another clean-focused gadget that could be a hit with those who live alone is the Bob from Don Tech. The mini dishwasher sells for $400, weighs 10 pounds, and is about the size of a microwave oven. According to the manufacturer, Bob uses 5 times less water per wash compared to a manual wash. The entire process takes just 15 minutes, and the gadget is a 16.5 cup water tank that can be filled, so there's no need to connect it to the water supply. In addition, Bob also uses ultraviolet light to clean. Also back at CES was the home companion robots, the Samsung Bot Eye and the Samsung Bot Handy. The Samsung Bot Eye is an interactive robot that uses balance control technology. It moves like a living creature, making dynamic and realistic movements. When it's close to the user, it moves with the user and offers various forms of support. When he is away from the user, he performs various tasks for him using the telepresence function. Samsung Bot Handy is a robot that helps with various household tasks using its arms. While last year at the show the robot could pick up a single object based on learning, this year Samsung introduced a scenario called dish management. The technology allows the robot to pick up objects after realizing multiple objects and analyzing the environment. This progress suggests that robots are not just concepts for an exhibition, they are still in development and could someday become an actual consumer product. The Industrial Technology Research Institute of Taiwan, ITRI for short, presented several innovations at the show. The first was the RGBD AI robot, which won the CES Innovation Award. According to the developers, this is the first collaborative robot with three-dimensional vision as a built-in standard. Intelligent object recognition technology includes sensors that are 168 times smaller than standard sensors, while the detection system itself works 38 times faster on average. True, the developers did not specify with what specific robots compared their invention. Robot RGBD AI also uses self-learning technology, which provides a fast and highly accurate extraction of 3D objects, eliminating the need for revision of control programs. Whenever a production line changes of new materials are introduced, the RGD AI robot can automatically scan tens of thousands of training materials, quickly learning the best processing strategies in less than 12 hours. The robot has been granted 34 patents in 16 fields and should be on the market under the Techman Robot brand by March of this year. ITRI also unveiled the autonomous selfies drone that self-composes, chooses the best lighting and angle, and flies itself to take the best selfies using artificial intelligence algorithms and data derived from photography theory. The drone can analyze head positions and orientation automatically and adjust its position and angle to achieve the best composition. Its portrait mode uses intelligent framing technology to analyze the user and the background, creating the most aesthetically pleasing composition. The last innovation of ITRI at the exhibition was the Interactive Time Machine, an intelligent system of creating 3D avatars of the face and whole body of the user, copying also their movement. The main trick is you can create a younger or older avatar of yourself. Beyond Imagination is another startup trying to make a useful humanoid robot and presented its creation, Biomni 1.0, at CES 2022. The developers claim that it's the world's first fully functional general-purpose robotic system. The humanoid can lift up 16 kilograms per arm and also performs delicate tasks such as adding a pinch of salt while cooking. The 4 wheels at the base allow the robot to move even in sand, mud, and snow. The robot can be controlled by humans, but should eventually become autonomous. We'll keep an eye on this one's progress in the future. Too Simple unveiled its unmanned long-haul trucks at CES. Earlier, in December of 21, one of their company's tractors made the world's first commercial trip on public roads without a person in the cab. Moreover, the heavy hauler covered the route of 128 kilometers from start to finish, not only without a driver at the wheel, but also without a remote control to back it up. The truck is able to independently follow the highway and maneuver on small city streets, can overtake slower traffic, and changes lanes to reduce risk of accidents if it spots a car on the side of the road. Autonomy announced at the show a fleet of its fully autonomous delivery robots called Autobot for delivering food, beverages, and convenience goods. The four-wheel delivery robot is twice the size of Starship's robot, has autonomous mobility capabilities, and can carry 40 to 45 kilograms of payload. Unlike its competitors, Autobot has 2 cargo compartments, which allow it to make 2 separate deliveries in one trip. At the same time, Autobot robots can navigate autonomously through crowds of people in unpredictable environments using patented contextual mobility navigation technology. The startup iMediSync Incorporated spoke at the show about its therapeutic brain health monitoring helmet, iSync Wave. In just 10 minutes, the developers promise a complete diagnosis of a patient's mental health, including a prediction of that condition for the future. The iSync Wave combines brain EEG and LED therapy, and the helmet is also capable of adjusting to any head size and shape. The era of the meta-universe almost came to a head at CES, where OO's smart and sometimes painful VR clothing was among other things unveiled. Each of the Spanish company's tight suits has electrodes in 10 locations on your torso and arms, all controlled by an app running on your phone. The electrodes stimulate your muscles to mimic the sensation of falling through air, bugs buzzing on your back, or being hit by drone fire. Sierra Space, one of 2 companies along with Blue Origin, leading the project to replace the International Space Station with a commercial equivalent, showed a rendering of the Dream Chaser space plane and a model of the giant Life Habitat inflatable space house at the show. Life will be flown into space, folded up inside a launch vehicle, and then expand to as many as 3 stories, even enough living space for 4 astronauts, scientists, filmmakers, or even tourists, the company said. The Amagami Ham therapeutic robot, whose only function is to chew on your finger, was also on display. It's supposed to calm you down when you're nervous. At CES 2022, they showed the new Movano Ring, a smart ring with advanced data interpretation algorithms. Movano Ring has a heart rate sensor, sleep tracker, calorie counting, breath monitoring, heart rate variability, and temperature measurements. But the main feature of the device is the algorithm for processing the collected data. The manufacturer promises that the device software will correlate all of the data and give specific advice and comments on the health of the user. The company Black & Decker at the exhibition CES 2022 has shown a home automatic bar for making cocktails. The device, which looks like a coffee machine, has a water tank and supports the installation of up to 5 bottles at 750 milliliters. After making a drink, the system rinses with air and water. The machine will automatically detect when a particular liquor has run out or when there isn't enough to mix a cocktail with the selected strength, and will alert the user before attempting to make that drink. Which gadget from the show do you find most useful? Write down in the comments. Like this video and don't miss any new episodes from the world of high tech. The British company Bellwether Industries conducted the first prototypes of its Volar, a 2-seat flying car built in a 1:2 scale. The vertical takeoff and landing multicopter will fly at speeds of more than 200 kilometers per hour and at altitudes of 900 meters. Meanwhile, its prototype made a controlled flight in Dubai at 40 kilometers per hour and at heights about 4 meters. The full-scale prototype has a width of 3.2 meters and will be designed for 4 passengers. The flight time on one Volar charge will be 90 minutes and the maximum payload at 600 kilograms. An electric propulsion system in the form of tunnel fans is hidden under the hull and includes 4 thrusters. According to the developer's plan, the Volar inner-city hypercar will go on sale by 2028. Recently, Elon Musk was answering questions on Lex Fridman's podcast and revealed details about Tesla's android Optimus. According to Musk, the Tesla-bot robot will be able to develop a personality and become more than just a machine for humans to perform boring everyday tasks like going shopping. I think the possibilities here are endless. It's not really a priority for Tesla to accelerate the transition to renewable energy around the world, but an extremely useful thing for humanity. A humanoid robot that can interact with the world and help in different ways, the entrepreneur said. Starlink did not manage to enter India. The company returns money to those who have placed the pre-order. The company had Napoleonic plans for the region. During 2022, Starlink intended to sell 200,000 terminals in India, but the company does not have a license to work in India, and when it will appear in India so far is not known. And on January 7th, Starlink users encountered a global malfunction. Satellite internet SpaceX stopped working around the world for about 9 minutes. The company has yet to comment on the incident. Tesla decided to create 3 levels of aggressiveness for its autopilot, and now the driver will be able to choose a suitable style of driving his car from the modes. The modes are chill, average, and assertive. They determine the behavior of automatics when changing lanes, keeping the distance to the car ahead, as well as the specifics of crossing intersections. Particularly, the most aggressive mode, assertive, allows the electric car to change lanes more often, stay in the leftmost lane longer, and pass the stop line without stopping completely, as well as crossing an intersection during a yellow traffic light. In Tokyo, Paizo Sonic's mighty delivery robot will soon begin operating. The robot can move efficiently on level ground, overcome obstacles, including stairs, change its trajectory, and turn around on the spot thanks to 4 independently driven wheels that can rotate up to 90 degrees. To navigate, Mighty uses GPS, cameras, and LiDAR, avoiding collisions with various insurmountable obstacles and pedestrians. Weighing at just 25 kilograms, the robot can carry up to 20 kilograms of payload, step over objects up to 15 centimeters high, climb slopes with a slope angle of up to 15 degrees, and accelerate up to 10 kilometers per hour. A full charge of the battery is enough for 4 hours of autonomous operation. Cadillac has unveiled the Inner Space Unmanned concept car. The spacious cabin has a comfortable 2-seater seat, which can be pulled apart, and instead of the dashboard under the windshield, there's a large curved screen with an onboard computer. The GM Utilify OS-based infotainment system can be expanded upon request. Biometric input and artificial intelligence-driven interfaces allow passengers to choose the ride experience, including augmented reality interaction, entertainment, and health recovery. The electric car boasts Goodyear tires made with sound comfort technology, which reduces driving noise, and the Sightline system provides additional information about tire pressure, temperatures, and load. The Cadillac Inner Space concept car is part of the comprehensive Halo concept portfolio project, which previously showcased the single-seat personal space electric plane and social space minibus concepts. Waynet is raising funds on Kickstarter to develop a modular robotic arm with artificial intelligence. The multifunctional device is designed to perform a variety of tasks at work or at home, from shooting video content to prototyping or even laser engraving. The robotic arm can lift up to 750 grams, its range is 390 millimeters, and its speed is up to 500 millimeters per second. The AI camera module can recognize faces, classify images, detect objects, track lines, recognize colors, and more. Various modules can be connected to the robot, such as a powerful laser for engraving and cutting, a 3D printer module with automatic alignment function, and a pen holder module. The Waynet is also equipped with a built-in vacuum pump, which can be used without any additional connections. Users can also create their own modules for any task. Japan's National Organization for Agriculture and Food Research has developed a method that predicts the flight path of insect pests. It should form the basis of a system that destroys pests with a laser. Stereo cameras will detect the insects, neural networks will predict their flight, and a powerful laser will destroy them. So far, no prototype has been released. Boston Dynamics will soon begin shipping its Stretch robot to a select group of customers this year. Wide sales will begin in 2023, and over the past year, the company's engineers have transformed Stretch from a prototype built largely from parts developed for Atlas and Spot to a robot ready for real-world deployment. The robot knows how to unload boxes from pallets on its own, put boxes on shelves, form orders from multiple boxes from different locations in the warehouse, and eventually load boxes onto trucks. All Stretch needs is to be shown the back of a trailer filled with boxes, and it will start working autonomously, placing each one on the conveyor belt one by one until the trailer is empty. The artist Agnieszka Palat has made Boston Dynamics robots the main subject of her artwork, and even being involved in the robot Spot in the painting process itself. The artist primed and painted the canvas beforehand, and then gave the robot instructions via an iPad. One of the paintings created with Spot was able to sell at auction for $31,500, and now the artist is working on a collection of NFT works and has no plans to part with the robot. It's interesting that it's been reported in the media. Boston Dynamics, Autodesk, Virgin Galactic, and Shack 15 invited the artist as the first in their art residencies. What have you heard about Boston Dynamics art residency? Let us know down in the comments. Everdrone, a company that promotes drones as one means of rapid medical care, said its drone saved a man's life. When a 71-year-old Swedish citizen had a heart attack, the drone was able to get a defibrillator to the scene before the ambulance arrived. A doctor who happened to be nearby was able to help. This type of care by drone has been tested in Sweden for several years, and in 64% of cases, the multicopter was ahead of the ambulance. The Italian company Flying Basket has begun testing heavy cargo drones FB3 capable of delivering parcels weighing up to 100 kilograms. The startup has already obtained the necessary permits and entered into an agreement with the National Postal Service. The company's drones now carry packages weighing 25 kilograms over the river for safety purposes. The drones can carry parcels inside the cargo bay or on an external hook. The FB3 drone itself weighs 70 kilograms and can stay in the air for up to 50 minutes. The American startup Petra introduced a robot capable of drilling even the hardest rocks in a non-contact way. The semi-autonomous, swiftly robotic system can create tunnels from 50 to 150 centimeters in diameter in any rock. The device blasts the rock using a hot head, which is under high pressure. A video demonstration shows the quartzite changing color, charring, and disintegrating. Swiftly uses machine vision but still requires remote control to do the job. It's also the first robot that can drive out on its own tunnel. The Swiftly costs 30 to 90% less to operate than conventional trenchless methods, and the robot also opens up access to previously unsuitable areas for drilling. John Deere introduced a new production 8R unmanned tractor that works on the start and forget principle. Farmers will be able to monitor the operation of the equipment through an application from the comfort of their own home. The John Deere autonomous driving system includes 6 pairs of 360-degree stereo cameras, a computing module, and a GPS navigator. It maps the terrain, collects data from fields, and passes the information to algorithms that plot new routes and identify obstacles. If the drone encounters something unexpected, it will transmit a signal to the control center, where the operator will deal with the situation and, if necessary, contact the owner. Waymo and Geely will produce an electric robo-taxi without a steering wheel. The minivan will be designed by a subsidiary of Geely, Zeekr, and will be equipped with intelligent functions of a pilot Waymo. The car will not have a steering wheel and other traditional controls. It will add another seat for a passenger and make the interior more spacious. The floor will be flat and there will be no central pillar, and the seats will be fully adjustable. The partners expect to release the electric car on public roads for commercial use in the coming years. Smart speakers can be dangerous? When a 10-year-old girl asked Amazon's Echo to give her a challenge, Alexa replied, "Here's what I found online. Plug your phone charger halfway into an outlet, then touch a 1-penny coin to the bare prongs of the plug." After the publicity of this incident, the developers immediately discouraged the speaker from looking for challenges on the internet. But the fact remains. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, and don't miss any new episodes from the world of high tech. Robots and technology for the military. Elon Musk's tower, a new humanoid robot, new drones of unusual designs, and robots for various tasks. See all the most interesting technology news in today's one issue. Here we go. A robot for garbage sorting. Scientists in Denmark have trained a neural network to distinguish between 12 major types of household and engineered plastics for sorting and recycling waste. The artificial intelligence analyzes hyperspectral image data in the infrared range and identifies distinctive features of different types of plastics. The accuracy of the system is up to 96% higher than any existing analogs. And this is how neural networks help solve one of mankind's global problems: garbage. The Jet Suit by Gravity Industries. The British military tested Gravity Industries' Jet Suit jetpack during a NATO mountain rescue exercise. The jetpack is powered by a 1,050 horsepower engine and develops 144 kilograms of thrust, accelerating it up to 80 kilometers per hour. With flight ranges at 5 kilometers and flight time about 4 minutes, and vertical altitude reaching 3,660 meters. Landing takes place on a small surface, and this is relevant when it's necessary to quickly help a wounded person in the mountainous terrain. The scenario of the exercise assumed that a soldier had to be extracted from the most difficult situations and emergency medical aid had to be provided. Blood plasma had to be delivered by a jet suit pilot who can react instantly and quickly to cover the path to the target. The pilot was moving along the track without issue. SpaceX's Mechazilla Tower. Elon Musk showed a video of the Mechazilla Tower that will catch the first stage of the Starship Super Heavy after it returns from orbit. The height of the tower is 140 meters, and it's located at the Cosmodrome Starbase in the state of Texas. According to the idea, the rocket must reduce the speed of the landing to catch a special boom on the tower, and in the future, the launch vehicle will return with only the help of Mechazilla. Robot NV1 from Housebots. The British company Housebots, together with the University of Warwick, has developed and presented the robot HB1, which is able to move on vertical surfaces in order to inspect infrastructure in buildings, to paint surfaces, and to take pictures of objects' conditions. Thanks to its unique suction system, the robot can climb over uneven surfaces and overcome obstacles such as wires and nails. The robot can carry up to 6 kilograms of payload, and the HB1 has a remote control radius of 30 meters from the ground. The Robocar from Nuro. The American startup Nuro, which promotes robo-delivery, introduced a new robot courier with an airbag for pedestrians mounted on the outside of the robot. And no, this is not a joke. The robot car is less than 3 meters long and includes 2 parcel compartments with a temperature maintenance function. The robot uses 5 LiDAR cameras and radars to move around, and the maximum speed so far is 72 kilometers per hour. The robot arm Alfred. At Travis Air Force Base in Northern California, they received a robotic arm for the canteen service. The Alfred robot arm is designed by the Boston-based startup Dexi Robotics, and, in keeping with the current trends, should minimize the transmission of germs and viruses. The robot knows how to autonomously fill plates with food, moving the ingredients needed in each case from the appropriate containers to the bowl. The robot is adapted to the current kitchen cleanliness standards and is equipped with a machine vision and intelligent systems for food recognition. It takes the robot only 8 seconds to add each ingredient and minutes to process a single order. And that's not as fast as a human chef, but it's also not slow for a robot either. According to the manufacturer, Alfred delivers about 50 full meals per hour. If the trials are successful, the systems will appear in at least 10 U.S. military mess halls. HyperLab Quadcopter. The High Performance Robotics Laboratory, otherwise known as HyperLab, and the University of California, Berkeley have unveiled a new quadcopter capable of changing shape in flight. The drone can remain operational in 4 different configurations with the ability to hover steadily in 3 of them. This is achieved without the use of actuators other than the 4 motors typical of a quadcopter. The transformation is achieved by freely rotating hinges that allow the vehicle arms to fold down by reducing or changing the thrust force. Atom, the barista robot. Rich Tech Robotics has unveiled its Atoma Barista Robot at CES 2022. This is a 2-armed robot that makes coffee just like a real barista. The robot's arms move simultaneously and independently, deftly manipulating various objects. Of the many robots that have learned to make coffee, it's the design that makes Atom stand out. You can read more about the robots from CES 2022 right here at the link in the video description. Humanoid Takabi. The new humanoid Takabi is a research robot created at the Seoul National University Dynamic Robotics Systems Laboratory, and it's debuted at the International Anna Avatar X Prize competition and took 8 years to develop. Takabi is a 180 centimeters tall and weighs 100 kilograms and has 33 degrees of freedom. The developers traditionally propose for the robot to be used as a rescuer and a deputy for humans in all hazardous environments and situations. Not much has been reported about the robot, but it's probably teleoperated, and hopefully we'll see more of Takabi at other events and future exhibitions. Spider Go Warehouse Robot. The Japanese company Tracked Racer showed a unique approach to warehouse automation with its Spider Go robot, which scans goods by moving on rails on the ceiling. The robot can run for 5 hours at a time, pausing for just 30 minutes to recharge. Spider Go moves horizontally and vertically for not only scanning barcodes, text, and RFID tags, but also periodically performs a physical survey of the cargo, and as a result, it's autonomously scanning inventory, remotely checking inventory in the control room, displays collected inventory location information in 3D, and tracks theft or accidents in the warehouse in real time, and it can also detect fires and even check the temperature and humidity in the warehouse. Combination of drone and underwater robot. KDDI, ProDrone, and Quisa unveiled a new system of drone and underwater robots. The drone takes the robot to the dive site in a special cage, landing on the water by buoys attached to its shoulders, and lowers the robot down. The robot dives to a depth of 150 meters and transmits video from its camera to the operator. The drone then picks the robot back up by pulling it up with a cable. Developers say that their system would be suitable for rapid inspection, rescue operations, and scientific research. The Brawler Robot Rover. The startup Extreme RC has developed a tracked robot rover called Brawler, which is now available on Kickstarter. With its modest size of only 82 by 45 centimeters, it has an aluminum alloy chassis and 2 hub-wing engines, allowing the rover to reach speeds of up to 64 kilometers per hour in just a few seconds. At the same time, the XRC Brawler can turn into an amphibious vehicle and travel on water. The caterpillars in this case play the role of rowing wheels. Stretch by Boston Dynamics. The Russian shipping company Fresco might start using Boston Dynamics stretch robots for loading and unloading containers at the port of Vladivostok. The company also said in a statement that it plans to use the robot for customer clearance of cargo at the port. Stretch, which can move 800 crates weighing up to 23 kilograms each in an hour, will hit the market this year, but so far for only a select few customers. Each of them will have to negotiate with Boston Dynamics individually. Fresco owns 40,000 containers and its fleet of fitting platforms amounts to about 6,000 units. The group's fleet consists of 18 transport vessels, which mainly carry out transportation on their own sea lines. Katy Perry unveiled a new music video for the song When I'm Gone, filmed with DJ Alesso and the robot Spot. It looks like the Boston Dynamics robot dog is becoming a fashionable gadget and it's winning back its place on the pop scene, in art and in advertising. Robo C2 from Promobot. The company Promobot began selling its robot Robo C2 with hands, and it's able to communicate, take objects up to 1 kilogram, point and shake hands. Now the robot has 3 modes for arm movement: basic gesturing, movements at the request of the interocular, and movements at the command of the development engineer. In the future, the developer will be taught to draw and write. Also in the arsenal of the robot, according to the developers, is about 600 variations of human facial expressions. Military robot Marker. Representatives of the Research and Manufacturing Association Android Technics reported that work on the Marker project has been completed. Robotics platform can autonomously patrol territory for 2.5 days, overcoming various obstacles, including fords up to 80 centimeters deep. But most importantly, during the development, engineers worked off the technology of autonomous group interaction of ground robots. Marker is trained to be able to move autonomously in space and interact with other robots, both wheeled and tracked. So far, the development is being tested while driving on predetermined routes, but later, markers will be able to build a route to the target independently. Subscribe to the Pro Robot channel, like this video, and don't miss any new episodes from the world of high tech. Another DARPA test took place in the US as part of the Offset program, and at them, one operator had to cope with a swarm of over 100 robots and drones working together. The tests were conducted by Raytheon Technologies and Northrop Grumman. The result of the first test was the simultaneous control of over 130 real drones and another 30 simulated drones. The second company managed to create a system to control 174 platforms at the same time. And while doing this, the goal of Offset is to create software that combines into a single group of up to 250 different ground robots and drones. The Northrop program manager reported that their operator managed to control the swarm for up to 3.5 hours. And during that time, the robots and drones found about 600 artifacts in about 20 minutes. Researchers at the Laboratory of Robotic Systems at the Zurich Institute of Technology have developed a new control system for the 4-legged robot animal. It allows the robot to combine data from cameras with information from the legs while walking to assess how to best walk on rough terrain. The system sort of mimics the sensations that humans get when walking on difficult terrain. And when the data is good, the robot plans ahead and moves quickly. But when the data set seems incomplete, noisy, or misleading, the controller gracefully degrades to proprioceptive locomotion. This means that the robot keeps moving, maybe slower and more cautiously, but does keep moving. Steep sections on slippery ground, high steps, and forest paths full of robots, the animal traversed 120 meters of challenging terrain in just 31 minutes without much effort, an excellent result for the robot. Engineers from China decided to do what Boston Dynamics failed to do in its time, namely a four-legged robot carrier for the military. According to Chinese sources, this is the world's largest bionic robot on four legs. It can travel at speeds of up to 10 kilometers per hour and carry 160 kilograms. The potential missions include transporting equipment and reconnaissance in inaccessible and dangerous areas. The robot runs on electricity and can reportedly navigate difficult surfaces such as sand, tall grass, or even snow. China decided to create a 5G satellite network that would compete with Starlink. The startup Galaxy Space, which has already sent its first batch of communication satellites into spaceport, has taken on the task. The project will be based on 5G communication protocols and therefore, according to developers, their network will be 5 times faster than the American version, while satellites themselves will need 11 times less than those of Starlink. Chinese developers have introduced an electric skin that will be able to provide tactile feedback between humans and robots. Most often, robot avatar operators receive only video as feedback, and in rare cases, tactile sensations are transmitted through rather complex and volumetric systems in the form of gloves. With this new development, it will be enough to stick the flexible skin patch with many sensors on the skin of the hands, and it will help control the robot remotely by providing feedback. A video of the trial is not yet available, so we're waiting for news on this project. A professor at South Korea's Ulsan National Institute figured out how to convert feces into energy and then started paying students in cryptocurrency to supply raw materials for this development. Cho Jae-won invented the cryptocurrency himself and named it Gajul. Students get 10 Gajul on their cards for each trip to the bathroom and can use it to pay for lunch at the university cafeteria. This makes sense given that the professor's lab is connected not only to toilets, but also to the university's heating system. Biogas from waste is fed into the heating system and the dry matter goes to fertilize the university's plants. And while we're at it, let's continue the toilet theme. NASA announced a competition for the invention of a toilet for Mars missions. The agency did not turn to big companies, but to ordinary inventors. They must find new approaches to waste management and conversions in 4 categories: fecal waste, garbage, styrofoam packaging, and carbon dioxide recycling. The journey to Mars is scheduled to take about 10 months, so there's going to be a lot of waste accumulated during that time. NASA's contest will have 24 winners, each receiving $1,000, and the best solution may be implemented by NASA. Neuralink has an opening for a director of clinical trials. You will have to work closely with the most advanced physicians and leading engineers, as well as the first participants in a Neuralink clinical trial. This according to the announcement. To get FDA approval, the company must first conduct trials on a small group of people and then on a broader group of participants. In a recent interview, Musk expressed cautious optimism about Neuralink, saying he hopes the technology will bring back the ability to walk for paralyzed people. Houston Mechatronics has renamed itself Nauticus Robotics and unveiled a broad line of its robotic products with the primary goal of protecting the world's oceans. The developers, which include many former NASA engineers, say they have created a sophisticated, ultra-resilient fleet of marine robots. It includes the electric-powered AquaNav-T robot and can perform underwater work with human dexterity, including repairing oil pipelines or cleaning the sea floor. The HydroNav-T robot, capable of carrying any kind of cargo or bringing other robots to the site and launching them into water in fully automatic or remote control mode. The third part of the system is an all-electric robot arm. It can work on the seafloor for as long as it wants, lifting heavy objects or easily manipulating small parts. The robot is smart enough to work autonomously, or it can be controlled by someone many kilometers away. A 222-meter robotic ferry has made its maiden voyage in Japan. The ship crossed the Japanese Sea on its own and docked without any human intervention. The ferry, Solil, moved in autonomous mode with a maximum speed of 48 kilometers per hour. The length of the route was 240 kilometers, and the ferry's navigation system includes GPS, infrared cameras for detecting and evading other ships at day or night, and an engine monitoring system as well as automated mooring and unmooring systems. KUKA has introduced a new show cell, Club KUKA, which combines entertainment and robotics with technical precision and artistic value. All in all, the show cell is home to a cool group called KJs. KR3 Agulus behind the drum sets is the beat, the KR Cybertech Nano is the DJ, and the KR Agulus acts as the light installation artist. In addition, there's LBR Iwa, who watches the robot party from the ceiling. The organizers of the Olympic Winter Games 2022 showed one of the most amazing places of the Olympic Village, the dining hall. Robots will be in charge of disinfecting and logistics, as well as delivering and cooking food. The eating areas are organized to ensure maximum protection for athletes from the risk of contamination. Shadow Robot has shown a new video of what the developers say is the most advanced robotic arm telecontrol system. The robot arms can be controlled remotely from anywhere in the world. The company claims the system provides an unprecedented maneuverability for any dangerous or complex manipulation. The robotic arms accurately mimic the movements of the user, and controlling them requires virtually no training. Too bad about the real-world applications. Researchers at the University of Michigan have unveiled a prosthetic leg with artificial intelligence and open source. Details are not yet available, but it's known that the developers have entered into an agreement with the assistive technology company Humotech. The goal of the collaboration is to accelerate the development of control software for robotic prosthesis that could potentially provide prosthetic users with the strength and natural gait of a human leg. Arrival showed how the production of its electric car is organized. Arrival's smart factory is quite compact and consists of several robotic clusters, including manipulators that perform a separate set of operations. Mobile robots communicate between the clusters. Company representatives said that they can create software for standard industrial manipulators. Korean engineers tried to accurately reproduce the structure of the human hand in the robot. The result is the ILDA, or Integrated Linkage Driven Dexterous Anthropomorphic, a robot arm with 20 joints and 15 degrees of freedom. The metal fingertips are capable of force of 30 Newton or about 3.5 kilograms. The 23-centimeter long device weighs about 1 kilogram and is capable of controlling the applied force. During test, ILDA demonstrated the ability to lift an egg without breaking, flatten a Coke can, and even wield scissors. The developers plan to combine their robotic arm with many existing commercial robotic manipulators. This will be possible in part because all components of the system are integrated in the arm itself and there's no external parts or modules. The use of an innovative lever mechanism that allows each finger to have 3 degrees of freedom also has contributed to the project's success. Such a design may also be of interest to manufacturers of smart prosthesis. What do you think of the robotic arm? Let us know in the comments. In Berlin, a robot avatar replaces a child in class. Because of a severe lung disease, 7-year-old Joshua Martingeli cannot attend classes in person. But thanks to the robot, he remains part of his class and keeps in touch not only with his teachers, but also with his friends. For now, the robot avatars are only available in one district of Berlin, and only 4 of them at that. But in the future, local authorities hope the idea will spread. The American startup Ziva showed the first test of its single-seat Zero aircraft with an original design. During 4 unmanned flights, the developers tested controlled hovering, low-speed taxi simulations, and vertical climbing maneuvers. The apparatus for takeoff and landing flies horizontally after gaining altitude. It's expected to reach a maximum speed of 260 kilometers per hour and a maximum range of about 80 kilometers. The company announces a development cost of about $250 and is ready to open pre-orders for the aircraft as early as this spring. BioPrint First Aid, a device capable of printing a patch on the body of astronauts from their own skin cells using special bioinks, was delivered to the ISS for testing. The device is compact and requires no external power supply. The patch at the site of the injury is created almost in real time, and inside the device, skin cells are mixed with 2 biogels to create a plaster-like coating. The technology will make astronauts less dependent on supplies of medicine from Earth. Promobot introduced its new product, Promobot Vending, a robotic complex consisting of a courier, a self-service terminal, a coffee machine, a soft-serve ice cream freezer, a carbonated drink machine, and a robotic arm manipulator to pass ice cream and drinks to the customers. Communication with customers is handled by a robotic cashier with a realistic appearance. The company is now accepting pre-orders, and according to Alexei Yusakov, a working prototype will appear in March. The Russian government, together with IT companies, is working on the state-of-standard smart high-rise buildings. The project includes a platform for the control of all services, a system of facial and vehicle recognition, systems of control over the infrastructure of housing and utilities, as well as others. And the extended package may include robots, concierges, delivery men, cleaners, and more. And what smart services would you like to have in your home? Let us know in the comments. Subscribe to the Pro Robot channel, like this video, and don't miss any new episodes from the world of high tech.
U.S. startup Elroy Air has unveiled a pre-production version of its Chaparral hybrid cargo drone. The vertical takeoff and landing aircraft is equipped with 8 vertical and 4 horizontal propellers. The hybrid electric propulsion system provides a range of almost 500 kilometers and a payload of 135 to 225 kilograms. The cargo is housed in a capsule suspended under the fuselage, which can be easily detached or replaced with another. Autonomous cargo transportation is increasingly in demand, but there are very few heavy drones yet, so the company hopes to have a good place in the market. Elon Musk announced that Tesla will not release any new models in 2022, including the promised Cybertruck. The release of the pickup truck has been postponed until 2023, and work on a budget model for $25,000 is not underway right now. The reason, according to the entrepreneur, is that the company has too many things to do right now, and the first of them is to scale production. Recall that Musk has promised to show his own humanoid robot in 2022, and he recently said, "In time, Optimus robots may become more important than the car business." But the latter statement likely indicates that we don't see a robot or developments on it this year either. The Japanese Space Agency and Toyota are developing a vehicle to explore the surface of the Moon and Mars. The Lunar Cruiser has borrowed its name from the Toyota Land Cruiser. The lunar vehicle is expected to be ready by the end of the 2020s. The design is based on the idea that people on another planet will eat, work, sleep, and communicate with each other without leaving the vehicle. To perform various tasks on the surface, a robotic arm with interchangeable attachments to work with various tools has been developed for the Planet vehicle. According to a Toyota spokesperson, the company's mission is to take its vehicles to places it has never been before. Boston Dynamics is preparing to supply an army of robots to logistics company DHL. In the next 3 years, stretch robots will begin unloading trucks at company warehouses across North America. The deal is valued at $15 million, but the number of robots has not been disclosed. The first stretch will arrive at DHL warehouses in spring of 2022. The robots on mobile platforms can carry boxes with a weight of up to 23 kilograms, and the range of their work is virtually unlimited. Each machine is powered by its own battery and can operate for up to 8 hours without recharging. For the first time, a robot successfully performed surgery on the intestines of pigs almost completely autonomously. Previously, robotics mainly operated on bones, where the position of tissues doesn't change, or the robots were fully supervised by human surgeons. But scientists from Johns Hopkins University managed to program the robot so that it reacted in time to the displacement of soft organs and tissues inside the animal's cavity. The robot operated on 4 pigs and with a total of 86 stitches. In 2/3 of the cases, the robot stitched by itself, and the rest of the time it had to be guided manually before it tried to stitch again. When the tissues were examined 1 week after surgery, the results were comparable to those achieved by human surgeons. Researchers believe this is a big step towards automated human surgery. Meta aims to create a universal neural network that can solve different tasks. The first version is already ready. It is called Data 2 Vec, which is able to recognize pictures, sound, and video independently. True, so far it does this worse than specialized networks, but the fact that it immediately and independently learns from completely different types of unlabeled data is impressive. It turns out that artificial intelligence develops in each area like a human, and this is an important milestone in the development of technology. While Data 2 Vec is still in the early stages of development, the beginning is promising. The Red Bull 2022 event in September could feature jetpack racing. This is being negotiated by jetpack aviation head David Mayman. Pilots will compete against each other on parallel air obstacle courses to avoid collisions. Hopefully, the trials will take place as jetpacks have already proven to be reliable and their pilots have shown how spectacular such flights can be. The races could also add to the popularity of the technology, which is now mostly of the interest of the military. The Financial Times published the results of a study on the economic efficiency of robot access. In short, it's zero. Why? Because today's cab market legislators, Uber and Yandex, rely not on their own fleets of cars, but on a wide network of drivers with their own cars, scattered throughout the streets of cities and ready to take on a particular order. In the case of robot access, the company will have to buy enough cars to meet the demand in the whole area at any time. That is, when there are few orders, robot cars will be idle, and when there are many, they'll most likely be in short supply. In addition, a fleet of drones cannot work at all without people. Someone has to check, fuel, fix, and wash the cars. In the end, as the experts calculate, the technology is there, but the benefits are not. Delic US Holdings received permission from the US Federal Aviation Administration to use its Percepto drones for inspections at 2 oil refineries. The drones will fly autonomously and out of sight of observers. The drones are controlled by the Percepto Autonomous Inspection and Monitoring Platform, a comprehensive visual data management solution. The system works with any visual sensor or camera and can be used with existing drones or robots to perform autonomous tasks. DARPA announced the first phase of a new program called Racer, which will feature off-road robot races. So far, 3 teams have been announced in the project and will receive funding from the agency. They are Carnegie Mellon University, NASA JPL, and the University of Washington. The goal of robotic autonomy in complex environments with resiliency is to develop new technologies that will allow ground combat vehicles to maneuver off-road at speeds that are not limited by autopilot software or processing time. The only limitations may be related to the vehicle's mechanical capabilities and safety. In the first phase, the vehicles will be off-road buggies, similar to the Polaris MRZRX. In the second, teams will get US Army autonomous platforms. The minimum goal is human professional level performance. Teams will receive cars with the same set of sensors, computing power, and ROS-based software infrastructure. They will also be given a list of GPS coordinates reflecting the boundaries of the track, waypoints of the route, and the final destination. Tevel introduced a very unusual and unique solution for fruit picking by drones. It's not quite believable that such a thing exists, but still, Tevel's solution includes an autonomous ground platform to which drones are tethered by grabs. The drones recognize the fruit on the branches, pick it up with their robotic arms, and put it into a compartment on their platform. The company claims the solution will allow farmers to keep harvesting under control. Startup Ecto VR has introduced an original way to walk freely and completely safely through the meta universe. The Ecto 1 shoes with motorized wheels on the soles are the answer. The wheels rotate in the opposite direction to the user's movement, allowing them to literally walk on the spot. Combined with a VR headset, the technology creates a convincing sense of movement in virtual space. The project is still in early stages of development and is unlikely to hit the market anytime soon. However, If Ecto 1 does create an immersive experience, and given the heightened current interest in the meta-universe, the startup could quickly find an investor to refine the technology. Researchers at North Carolina State University in the United States have demonstrated a new type of flexible robot gripper that can lift delicate egg yolks without breaking them. In doing so, they are precise enough to lift a human hair. To do this, engineers again turn to the art of kirigami, as they've done before. A similar design can be used in flexible grippers and dynamically adaptable structures. The German Artificial Intelligence Research Center introduced the Cuttlefish AUV, a submarine with 2 arms. The apparatus is designed to inspect marine infrastructure. The most interesting thing about it is that when the robot arrives at the place of work, it takes an uncharacteristically upright position and releases 2 anthropomorphic arms. The robotic limbs are operated by a human being, and it's for their convenience that the boat takes on such an unusual position. It does look a little unusual. Let us know in the comments if you think this technical solution is justified or not. American engineers have developed a drone that can be launched from an air cannon. The drone is built with a coaxial design, and its propellers are folded along the hull. During launch, the cannon pushes the drone with an airstream at a speed of 16 meters per second. The drone instantly turns and unwinds the propellers, and then in a couple of seconds stabilizes its position, being already a few meters above the ground. After that, the drone is controllable and quite stable when hovering. Motorica, together with the Far Eastern Federal University Medical Center and the Zelman Center for Neurobiology and Neurorehabilitation, conducted the first operation in Russia on invasive implantation of electrodes in the peripheral nerve to establish a sensory feedback between prosthetic hands and the human nervous system. The goal of the project is to investigate the technology of sensitization of bionic prosthesis, allowing for maximum interaction with the human body. Only a few international teams have performed similar operations in the world. Now, for 2 weeks, patients will learn to perform various tasks in a new way with the help of bionic prosthetic hands. During the post-operation period, specialists will study and work out individual stimulation parameters for each patient's perception of tactile sensations, pressure, pain, heat, and cold. The Russian military has patented a new system for protection against a swarm of small drones. They proposed installing a spring-loaded platform on a drone with a multi-barrel module and 4 telescopic rails connected by a net. In the firing position, the vehicle hovers over the object with the net open, and when the swarm comes in contact with the net, it gives a simultaneous salvo from all barrels, creating a shrapnel field of continuous defeat. I personally would like to see this project come to fruition. Well, that's all we have for today, but let us know in the comments which tech story sounds the most interesting or perhaps practical to you. Remember to like the video, subscribe, and ring that bell icon so you never miss the very best in high-tech news. Thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll see you again next time.
The Japanese company Git AI has developed an advanced lunar robotic rover R1 that can perform general-purpose tasks such as exploration, mining, inspection, maintenance, assembly, and more. Last December, the robot was tested on the campus of the Japanese aerospace agency JAXA. The surface reportedly simulated a lunar surface, but whether gravity and temperature conditions on our satellite were simulated, the press release did not clarify. The robot rover Git AI R1 successfully completed all of its planned tasks. Among them were moving along a given route with overcoming obstacles in the form of rocks, in which the robot was helped by legs with omnidirectional wheels, climbing a sandy slope with a slope up to 20 degrees, and tasks to assemble solar panels, parts of which were stored in special containers. The panels would be a critical part of lunar infrastructure, and assembling them would be one of the first tasks of any lunar-based mission. R1 also assembled and sealed samples of the simulated lunar surface for storage. The company said the robot will be ready for real tests on the moon by the mid-2020s. The first autonomous flight of the U.S. Black Hawk UH-60 multipurpose helicopter equipped with the Alias system recently took place. Researchers at the Virginia Tech Institute of Technology introduced a composite material capable of transforming from a flat sheet to a complex shape. It's made of an elastometer with a pattern of notches that determine what shape the material will take. Inside the elastometer sheet is a metal skeleton, which melts at 62 degrees Celsius and a flexible heating element. Heating the metal skeleton to a melting state allows the sheet to deform, and then it cools again and takes a stable shape until the next time it's heated. This change in shape could make the robot more versatile and passable. All in all, we're waiting for Terminator 2. And engineers at the Northwestern University in Boston showed a gripper design that works stably in 3 different configurations. Switching between configurations is done by shaking. Essentially, this concept combines 3 different types of gripper into one. China's AutoX robotaxi drone fleet has exceeded 1,000 vehicles. This was a monumental milestone for the company, whose autonomous fleet is already the largest in China. Interestingly, a study recently came out in the US proving the inefficiency of the business model of unmanned cabs, as we've covered in previous issues. But that does not stop the Chinese. They probably haven't even read it. AutoX has even launched a special production line to produce robotaxis with 4 levels of autonomy. All of the new robotaxis are equipped with the AutoX Gen 5 system, officially launched last July, and operate without an accompanying driver. The facility is the first of its kind in China. Do you want to go to one of the main robotics centers in Europe? Join a Robotics Business R22 trade fair, March 20th through the 27th. You'll be able to visit the Danish city of Odense, which has more than 300 companies and research centers. During these days, the R22 exhibition, the largest event in Northern Europe dedicated to automation technology and robotics, will be held there. Parallel to the exhibition is the Odense Investor Summit, which has raised more than 860 million euros in startups since 2015, and it will also take place on March 24th. SpaceX is actively preparing for the first test flight of the Starship with its Super Heavy rocket to orbit Earth. Ahead of the event, Elon Musk showed the operation of his giant tower with a mechanized arm called Mechazilla, which will be used to assemble the Starship before liftoff and catch the Super Heavy launch vehicle and Starship spacecraft when it lands for reuse. Musk said that the design of the Starship, which he hopes to launch into orbit this year, has been revised in terms of engines. So, Super Heavy will use 33 engines instead of 29, and Starship will use 9 engines instead of 6. The engines themselves will also be replaced by a new version of the Raptor 2, production and testing of which is already underway in Texas. And although at the moment there are problems, namely combustion chambers of engines with up to 230 tons of thrust melts during operation, the founder of SpaceX hopes that soon it will be resolved and the company will start producing by the next month for 7 to 8 engines per week, and by the end of the year to produce each month 1 Starship and Super Heavy. The entrepreneur also presented a new animation of the colonization of Mars. He accompanied it with the words that Starship will reduce the cost of delivery of cargoes into space tenfold, up to $100 per kilogram or even lower, which will make the idea of colonization much more feasible, given that the first colony will require about 1 million tons of resources from Earth. After switching to autonomous mode, the helicopter performs its own pre-flight check and starts the engines, cranking the propellers, and takes off without any crew on board. The first unmanned mission lasted 30 minutes and was carried out with the usual speed and altitude for helicopters of this type. In doing so, the helicopter navigated through a simulated cityscape, avoiding imaginary buildings and replanning the route in real time. Black Hawk then performed a series of maneuvers on its own and came back and landed. The Netherlands APO.com Group, a leader in automated online pharmaceuticals in the country, showed how its warehouses are set up. Integrating right-pick robots from Right Hand Robotics, which are responsible for picking items, into AutoStore's automated cube storage system helped automate the warehouse's 24/7 operation. Right-pick robots pick and scan items as they receive incoming and full outgoing orders, processing thousands of these orders per day. It's worth noting that the area of the warehouse is 20,000 square meters. The potential of the Chinese meta universe is estimated at $8 trillion. Following global trends, local IT giants such as Tencent, NetEase, and Alibaba are investing in this direction. You can see more about the meta universe in the video clip here in the link. Interestingly, many areas of the metaverse involve the use of cryptocurrencies, which are totally banned in the People's Republic of China. Instead, China is actively promoting the state's digital currency, the digital yuan. Malware for hidden mining and cryptocurrency theft began to spread under the guise of NFT tokens. The point is that the token of this type can store content outside of the blockchain, in which case it is possible to create a token in such a way that when purchased, it can represent a picture, and after being sold, it can be used for other tasks. Researchers at the Harvard and Emory University are conducting an amazing experiment with a bio-robot. The robot in the fish video is constantly moving, developing, improving its characteristics, and living its life for more than 100 days. The cells for the robot were grown from human heart stem cells and upgraded to work in a new capacity. They are located on both sides of the flexible plate, and an electromechanical connection is established between them. Layers of cells contract and stretch synchronously, and the connecting node sets the frequency and rhythm of the contractions. During the experiment, the cells continue to mature, which increases the amplitude of oscillations and consequently the speed of the robot's movement. By day 100, it was almost as fast as a real fish. RoboCat Biddle has learned to walk on ceilings thanks to its very light body. That's it for today. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, and don't miss any new releases from the world of high technology. The largest exhibition of technology and human achievements, Expo 2020 Dubai, is coming to a close in Dubai. The name was retained from the year before last, when the event was cancelled due to a pandemic. For the same reason, the current exhibition was organized with maximum precautions, ensured by more than 150 service robots among others. The robots deployed at Expo 2020 are a project of the Chinese tech giant specializing in artificial intelligence, Terminus. They all consist of two parts, the upper part, which contains the devices, and the lower part, which supports the robot's body. In this case, the upper part is equipped with basic functions for general use and additional unique to each robot. Some are responsible for sterilization, others for logistics, and others for communication with visitors and so on. For example, the Opti robot is a fully autonomous mascot with the support of artificial intelligence technology. 50 incredibly friendly robots were created according to the drawings of the exhibition management in just 6 months. The small, maneuverable, and human-safe robots can function on a single charge for more than 24 hours. Opti is designed for communication and entertainment. So, throughout the exhibition, the little orange robots had group dances and flash mobs, including a Halloween performance. Food and beverage delivery at Expo 2020 Dubai was entrusted to Talabots. This is the result of integration of the city's most popular food delivery service, Talabat, with the Terminus Group. You can order food from your favorite restaurant on the Talabat website by specifying your location, and in their free time, robots deliver free water and ice. There were security guards among the robots as well. Patrol robots were responsible for the security of the exhibition area, and a special metro station, Expo 2020. The cars are equipped with HD cameras for face recognition, thermal cameras, and an SOS button. They also reminded visitors to follow the safety protocols adopted due to the difficult epidemic situation. Other more versatile delivery robots did such work as handing out maps and exhibit brochures, free snacks and water, as well as voice-informing visitors in response to questions posed. And of course, no high-tech event can do without a barista robot making coffee for visitors. All robots are weatherproof and can operate at temperatures ranging from -10 Celsius to 55 degrees Celsius. When their battery runs out, they return to the charging point, dock autonomously, and recharge without human intervention. This allows machines with artificial intelligence to operate around the clock without human assistance or supervision. The Terminus Group has also signed a long-term lease for District 2020, the smart city of the future located at Expo 2020. There, the company will establish a research and innovation center and open its first international headquarters outside of Asia. Terminus will hardware upgrade the city, equip it with new software, and develop its Artificial Intelligence of Things, or AIT, while there. The pavilions at the exhibition also surprised. For example, the Pavilion of Russia, the theme of which was Creative Mind, you could see a giant brain symbolizing the most complex phenomenon of the universe, allowing you to make discoveries. The German pavilion featured a robot orchestra playing Beethoven. The British pavilion was dedicated to artificial intelligence and was built of wood. Dozens of words appear and disappear on the facade, each written by visitors using a tablet inside the building. From this array, a given neural network forms a new poem every minute. The main decoration of the Chinese pavilion was Ubitex Panda and Walker humanoid service robots. They interacted with visitors, told them about the pavilion and China's achievements in the field of smart cities, space and agriculture, conducted tours, took joint photos with them, and simply entertained. The robots are built on the same platform. They have 41 joints, can walk and do gymnastics, do calligraphy, and interact with visitors. MindSphere Smart City Solution was presented at the exhibition, designed to digitally optimize Expo 2020, improve visitor experience, and reduce energy and water consumption during the 6-month event through the introduction of an industrial Internet of Things. The solution was developed specifically for the exhibition by Siemens. Initially, MindSphere Smart City worked in 2 areas: environmental monitoring and irrigation to fully irrigated trees while making optimal use of water and energy. Now there are over 200,000 sensors connected to the digital infrastructure. More than 130 buildings in an area of more than 4 square kilometers are interconnected via the Internet of Things. Hundreds of thousands of sensors communicate with the central IoT platform through subsystems. The organizers of the exhibition note that the project implemented here can become a model for smart cities around the world in the future. Visitors to Expo have the opportunity to try the Hyperloop capsule. In the future, it will allow passengers to get from Dubai to Abu Dhabi, covering a distance of about 140 kilometers in just 12 minutes. It's announced that this project will be implemented by 2030. The futuristic transport was presented at the exhibition by Virgin Hyperloop. In addition to the passenger compartment, the DP World's Flow Pavilion also presented a 10-meter cargo container. Both capsules can travel at 1,080 to 1,200 kilometers per hour using environmentally friendly electric propulsion and electromagnetic levitation. According to WOM, the Hyperloop will be able to transport about 3,400 people per hour, which is 128,000 people a day, or 24 million people a year. At the Expo, the Dubai Islamic Bank Pavilion presented the Smart Mirror solution, a smart device with a rectangular shape as tall as a person. Standing in front of it, you can see all your personal banking information in seconds: what accounts and under what conditions are opened, what credits you have, how many cards you have, and what type, and other information. The client is recognized using biometric technology by face or fingerprint. According to the owners of the pavilion, by 2050, clients will trust banks not only with their financial data. For example, the Smart Mirror will estimate the state of health, fitness, and attitude towards the environment, and encourage bank customers for a healthy lifestyle or care for the environment with special points, offers, and bonuses. Quite a few pavilions at Expo introduce solutions for urban gardening and vertical farms. For example, urban gardening can be found at sites in Estonia, Singapore, and Finland. The Netherlands has gone even further in this context. At the country's pavilion, Rainmaker technology is being demonstrated. It's capable of extracting water from the air even in the desert. According to the creators of the pavilion, the Rainmaker extracts 800 liters of water from the air daily. This process is based on renewable energy produced by lightweight, organic, transparent solar panels mounted on the roof. And at the same time, the sunlight streaming through the panels helps plants with photosynthesis. At the Banking of the Future Pavilion at Expo, visitors are shown the growing potential of quantum computing in banking. Cybersecurity threats have exponentially increased the risk of financial crime and fraud. With the advent of 5G and connected devices, and as customer transactions increase, so will the challenge of managing data and getting actionable information in real time. And this is where the opportunities for quantum computing come in, according to the organizers. There's also a drone show every night at the Expo, organized by the China Pavilion. In other news, Rolls-Royce announced that electric flying cabs will appear sooner than we all expected, namely within 3 to 5 years. However, we are not talking about flying cars, but about fast and compact electric planes, the engines for which the company is developing. For example, the first commercial application of the P-Volt, a battery electric system developed by Rolls-Royce, will have a capacity of about 600 kilowatt-hours, which will allow transport of 6 to 8 passengers for distances up to 150 kilometers. By 2030, the company plans to create technologies that will allow it to cover up to 400 kilometers in just one charge. And the Chinese company Autoflight published a video for the first flight of its unmanned vertical takeoff and landing cab. The eVTOL Prosperity took off and switched from vertical takeoff to a more energy-efficient horizontal one and back before landing. During the vertical ascent, the apparatus engaged 8 propellers, which should help it support not only its own weight but also that of the 4 people on board. Prosperity climbed to an altitude of 150 meters and accelerated to a working speed of 200 kilometers per hour. The drone is designed for short flights and should be on the market by 2025. The Laboratory for Robotic Systems at the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology in Zurich presented a reconfigurable leg design for walking robots. The leg can switch seamlessly between different modes using a simple mechanism. This should allow engineers to extend the robot's capabilities with additional tasks and ways of moving. Engineers from Cornell University have shown an accessory that recognizes commands spoken without sound. The gadget hangs on the chest and reads information from a person's lower jaw using an infrared camera. A built-in microprocessor processes the information and transmits the command to a smartphone using Bluetooth speech-in module. The researchers emphasized that the camera sees only the chin, which means it preserves the user's privacy. The device is designed for use in crowded places when giving commands by voice is not quite convenient. And developers from the University of Western Ontario have trained the robot to pick mushrooms better than a human. The machine is equipped with a technical vision system allowing it to recognize the maturity of a mushroom by size. The robot can gently pick up the ripe mushroom 24 hours a day without damaging their soft structure. Moreover, the bot remembers which mushrooms should be ripe and returns for prey at the right time. The whole system is built so that it can be easily integrated into any mushroom farm. Russian developers presented a system of interaction between humans and drone archery. It allows improving the accuracy and flight path prediction by 15% and increasing the average level of control recognition by 70%. Drone archery can be used to quickly deploy a swarm of drones to determine plant growth indexes, land cadastral estimates, and cell tower and bridge inspections. In doing so, the operator can precisely set the target and trajectory of a single agent or group of drones. The design consists of a wrist tactile display, gloves with reflective markers, and 3 mini drones. The main feature is the tactile display, which recognizes and transmits signals from the drone to the user, increasing the quality of control. Subscribe to the Pro Robot channel, like this video, and don't miss any new episodes from the world of high tech. But before we go on, let me say something about today's sponsor, Brilliant. Brilliant is an interactive educational platform for anyone who wants to learn the exact sciences and understand how logic, memory, and deduction work. All courses are built to be hands-on and interactive. You can learn through the website or by installing a mobile app. The main idea of the educational project Diamond is that first you have to learn how to think, develop logical thinking, deduction, imagery. Once you understand how neural connections work, you can solve any problem. The company has been refining ways to teach the exact sciences for many years, adding new interactive tasks and programs. More than 70 courses on the basics of exact sciences are uploaded to the Brilliant platform. School children, students, and all those who want to develop in their chosen field can study. Courses are written by teachers from colleges and universities from around the world. The selection of courses in the exact sciences at Brilliant.org is huge. In addition to educational programs, after installing the mobile app, all participants are offered to participate in daily workshops in their chosen sciences. Brilliant is a great example of the coming future. If you want to explore math, science, or computer topics in depth, Brilliant is a great way to do it structurally, but at your own pace. If you want to join me and millions of other curious people on Brilliant, go to brilliant.org/prorobots and register for free. Also, the first 200 people who follow this link will get 20% off their annual premium subscription.
The US is testing robotic dogs for autonomous patrols at its borders. This was officially announced by the US Department of Homeland Security, stressing that the tests have been successful. The robots are being used to monitor the southern borders, but the timing of their full-fledged deployment is not yet reported. Ghost Vision 60 machines by Ghost Robotics were originally created for the needs of the US Army. According to the manufacturer, the robots, which are 76 centimeters high and weigh 32 kilograms, are reliable and inexpensive. They can operate in all weather conditions and are able to overcome on a single charge up to 12 kilometers. The machines can move either autonomously or be manually controlled, and they can be fitted with a number of payloads, including thermal imaging cameras and night vision cameras. In autonomous mode, the robots move according to established GPS waypoints and use their cameras and sensors to select a route and inspect specified objects. Ghost Robotics has even demonstrated prototype models equipped with weapons in the past, although there is no confirmation that such payloads are being officially tested now. But the Spot robot has been on the Jimmy Fallon Show with Boston Dynamics CEO Robert Plater. Also, recently Boston Dynamics robots starred in a commercial for a brand of American beer. The video turned out incendiary, being at the same time a demonstration of robots' capabilities. The most interesting moment was Atlas's new robot arms, which he used to interact with small objects. Recall that it was the robot arms that company founder Mike Rybert, who also showed up at the end of the commercial, called the main goal of this year's research. We very much look forward to more videos and details about the robot. DeepMind has developed an artificial intelligence that writes code independently at the level of 54% of top coders. The AlphaCode system has been tested in Codeforce's tests used to evaluate programmers' competence levels and has proven that it not only writes program code at the level of best human coders, but also independently comes up with algorithms to solve the tasks proposed to it. This is a significant step towards autonomous coding, the developer said, although AlphaCode skills are not yet quite up to the tasks that average programmers have to tackle. The algorithm received 10 test problems in the same format in which people are given them. It then generated many possible answers and eliminated the wrong ones by running the code and checking the results, just like a live programmer would do. And all this without human input. As a result, AlphaCode hit 54.3% of the best programmers. The creators of AlphaCode have stressed that so far, the research is in early stages, but the results bring the company closer to the creation of flexible artificial intelligence, which will be able to autonomously solve the problems that can only be achieved by people today. Israeli startup Electrion will build the first road with inductive charging for electric cars in the United States. The 1,600-meter stretch will cost the state of Michigan almost $2 million. The Electrion technology is based on a DWPT platform based on copper coils similar to the ones used in wireless smartphone chargers, but much larger. These coils are installed under normal asphalt and generate power through magnetic induction. When an electric car passes over the charging station, the battery pack, equipped with a receiving device, starts charging automatically. The Electrion system assumes that the DWPT control unit must be located at the side of the road and the receiver in the chassis of the connected vehicle. Since not all private electric cars will be able to adjust to the startup technology, for now, the project is designed for public transport. The German company, Continental Engineering Services, together with startup Volterio, will develop fully autonomous robots for charging private electric cars. The system will consist of a unit attached to the bottom of the car and a small floor robot for garage or parking, which will fight in port on its own no matter how you park. The first prototype should be available by the middle of this year, and the finished product will hit the market in 2024. Startup Joby Aviation will launch an air cab service in Seoul. Flying cars will be integrated into the city's transportation system with the support of South Korea's SK Telecom Corporation, which is developing the T-Map mobility platform. The latter integrates car rental parking, cab services, and other transportation services, as well as the joint venture UT, created last year by SK Telecom and Uber. The air cab service Joby will also be part of this venture. To begin with, Seoul will have 1 or 2 air routes. By the end of the 2020s, the city plans to develop up to 10 air taxi terminals. Starlink has launched new premium antennas that increase data reception speeds up to 500 megabytes per second. The price of a monthly subscription has also increased and will be $500 per month for the premium tariff. At the same time, the non-refundable deposit also went up by $500, and the one-time equipment fee became $2,500. The offer is designed for offices and stores and should solve some of the project's problems, including selling the equipment for less than its production cost. RoboBee, a miniature developed by Harvard University scientists that can already fly, land, swim, and feel, has learned to precisely control its course and lateral movement. The robot is now more agile in its maneuvers, which will allow it to be used in a greater variety of scenarios. To do this, scientists have developed a new model that analytically maps how different flight-related sweep signals affect forces and torques, determining the best combination in flight in real time. That's a lot of progress for a small robot. The Toyota Research Institute showed a new video teaching autonomous cars how to drift. The idea behind the research is to use controlled autonomous drifting to prevent accidents by overcoming sudden obstacles or dangerous road conditions such as ice. In the long run, it can improve the safety of cars, which will be able to take control in an emergency situation if the driver cannot do it on their own. The company's experts emphasize that they want to complement and enhance human capabilities, not replace humans behind the wheel of a car. Carnegie Mellon University researchers showed how their robot controls its entire body to maintain balance while carrying a heavy payload. Ballbot actively compensates for the additional weight of the payload by dynamically stabilizing its position and balancing on its single spherical wheel. Swiss scientists developed an implant that allowed a paralyzed person with spinal cord injuries to walk. The technology is based on the use of electrical impulses that mimic brain signals, which transmit signals for action directly to the patient's muscles. A flexible implant is placed under the vertebrae, directly on the spinal cord. The electrodes in it are located precisely at the sites of the spinal nerve roots. The entire system is controlled by an algorithm based on artificial intelligence. As a result, the patient presses buttons on remote controls located on the handles of their walker, transmitting a signal to the tablet as to what exactly they want it to do. A clever algorithm on the tablet generates the correct signals the brain would send to the legs and transmits them to a device on the patient's stomach, which in turn redirects the command to the implant. As a result, the paralyzed person can walk, stand, ride a bicycle, swim, or even engage in other sports. Engineers at the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology Zurich decided to make a walker out of a drone. The drone tried to lead a person to a given point by constantly controlling the tension of the cable. The latter is important not only to ensure that the person is walking in the right direction, but also to ensure that they don't get too close to the drone. Tether tension is measured 800 times per second with a force sensor. Interestingly, the engineers still found it necessary to use a shield for the safety of the tester. Who would want to climb into a collapsed shaft to inspect it? Robots, of course. The La Hoist limestone mine in North America recently suffered a massive collapse, making it dangerous for humans and burying all data channels underground. The company's engineers decided to build a low-latency, high-bandwidth wireless IP network using robots from Australian Droid and Robot, ADR. A team of 10 ADR Explorer XL unmanned robots were assembled to place 3 Radiant kinetic mesh wireless underground communication network points inside the mine, the deepest of which was at a depth of 1.7 kilometers and installed 8 robot hubs. As a result, engineers got a good visualization of the collapse site and safe areas where manned robotic explorers could be sent. The ADR robot surveyed all relevant areas of the mine while simultaneously transmitting video data at speeds of up to 80 megabytes per second. This allows the miners to return to the mine to restore power and communications. Any Robotics engineer Takehiro Miki posted on his Twitter account a video testing the adaptive behavior of Annual's robot dog in various challenging situations. The robot coped with almost all different surfaces, including various obstacles, loose snow, and slippery steps. The most difficult tests were of a transparent obstacle, to which the robot could never adapt, and an icy surface on which the robot's legs couldn't find a stable position. Nevertheless, the control algorithm developed by AnyRobots is really impressive. Sam's Club decided to teach its cleaning robots, developed by BrainCorp, to take inventory, namely by inspecting shelves and scanning merchandise items. Sam's Club now operates about 600 machines that have learned the new skill. BrainCorp's approach illustrates the trend of increasing modularity and hybridity, teaching time-proven platforms new tricks and equipping them with new modules, which significantly prolongs the life cycle of the manufactured product. Heavy Robotics teamed up with ClearPath Robotics to create a reliable, simple, and functional mobile manipulator platform. The Jackal UGV autonomous platform is taken from ClearPath Robotics and the controlled wide-range arm demo arm from Heavy Robotics. The robot is lightweight and dexterous, as demo arm can manipulate objects at any angle and endlessly rotate, twist, polish, and blend whatever the customer needs. Apple acquired AI Music, a startup that generates music using artificial intelligence. When creating a track, the technology takes into account the user's wishes, the scope of the music, and other parameters, creating a personalized composition. The main trick is that the music can dynamically change when interacting with the user, reacting, for example, to the intensity of training or the atmosphere of a game scene. It's expected that AI Music will be used in various Apple services. Well, that's all we have for today's video, but check out Unitree Robotics' largest ever flash mob of 4-legged robots acting together. 200 robots is a record. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, ring that bell, and don't miss any more of the high-tech world. We'll see you again next time. The US Space Force plans to begin patrolling the area around the moon. An official announcement says that the military plans to expand its space information capabilities beyond the geostationary orbit all the way to the moon, i.e., to increase the controlled space by a factor of 10. For this purpose, it is planned to develop and launch a satellite, probably equipped with a powerful telescope, into near-lunar space. Judging by the video, the satellite will be called the Cislunar Highway Patrol System, or CHIPS. Thus, the US plans to monitor all objects and missions launched to the moon or its orbit. It's noted that CHIPS will not include response capabilities to any threats, but will serve primarily to provide situational awareness. NASA's Curiosity Mars rover found a flower of minerals on Mars. Curiosity team members at NASA commented on the find. Quote, "We're finding fascinating things on Mars, but we really need more evidence to say we've identified life. The hardest part is letting go of the notion of Earth and getting rid of the biases we have and really trying to get into the basics of chemistry, physics, and environmental processes on Mars." The research continues. Startup Emerge has introduced the Wave 1 device, which allows you to sense objects in virtual reality without gloves. It is an ultrasonic panel that connects to a VR headset and provides haptic feedback. Emerge Wave 1 is a 26 by 30 centimeter panel capable of projecting volumetric ultrasound into the air. If the user holds their hands over the device, they feel the haptic waves. They focus as dots that are 0.9 meters above the panel and spread 120 degrees around the panel. Wave 1 can be synchronized with the Emerge Home app, which includes many games and social apps specifically designed for the system. The Riken Research Institute in Japan has introduced a robotic android named Nicola. For now, it is only a head, but in the future, it will also get the whole body. Nicola's main task is to create facial expressions that humans can interpret unmistakably. The robot is part of a larger project from Riken called the Guardian Robot Project, which aims to develop an autonomous robot for everyday work with people that can make emotional connections with them. What kind of robot would you rather have around? Like this? Or like this? Let us know in the comments. Bosch has acquired the startup Atlatech, which creates high-resolution 3D maps for Level 3 and Level 4 autonomous driving. Bosch said the acquisition of Atlatech makes the company the only one in the market that can offer its customers all the components they need for automated driving, from actuators and sensors to software and maps. Atlatech's portfolio includes data recording and processing equipment, software and sensor pads, as well as 3D mapping and simulation software for autonomous driving. The company uses data collected from its radar, video, and ultrasonic technologies, as well as additional information such as road signs and sharp turns to train its artificial intelligence algorithms. Edinburgh-based startup Flowcopter has shown tests of the world's first hydraulic-powered cargo drone. The drone runs on certified internal combustion engines powered by hydraulic pumps, paired with electric motors that help the drone gain speed. Each combustion engine produces 129 horsepower and weighs only 5.5 kilograms. The company said that the design can operate continuously for up to 6 hours and fly a distance of up to 900 kilometers. The useful load of the drone can be up to 150 kilograms, but the maximum weight reduces the flight time. The company Meta introduced the BuilderBot system based on artificial intelligence, which creates three-dimensional objects in the virtual world according to the verbal description of its users. Thus, every user can create their own corner of the universe arranged according to their wishes. But how much detail and personalization of this corner is possible, the company did not say. In reality, it depends on how exactly the objects are created. Are they taken from the libraries or are actually designed individually? But the company didn't say anything about that yet. Meta also announced a universal interpreter for all languages. It works even with the rarest and most complex languages. SRI International, an American nonprofit research institute, introduced a system for remotely controlling construction equipment. It is a robotic solution that automates repetitive actions such as digging and provides intuitive remote controls for more complex action. This progressive approach to autonomy is designed to increase the productivity of remaining workers, create new opportunities for remote workers, and encourage new workers to join the industry by making working with equipment safer and more comfortable. Gecko Robotics, which builds robots to inspect labor pipelines and other infrastructure, has raised $73 million in Series C funding. The company's technology is aimed at the electric power, oil and gas, heavy-duty, and defense industries. The TOCA series of robots, which includes TOCA 3, TOCA 4, TOCA 4GZ, and TOCA Flex, are designed to work in certain environments. For example, TOCA 3 is better suited for inspecting medium-diameter pipes and high-temperature surfaces, while TOCA 4 handles boiler walls and curved surfaces better. The developers emphasize that their robots do not replace humans, but make their work easier and more pleasant. Startup SDU Biorobotics has introduced universal module neural control with fast learning for animal-inspired robots on legs. According to the developers, the approach is scalable, amenable to analysis, and resistant to sensor errors, and its learning process is faster than current motion controllers. The demonstration was performed on a 6-legged robot, which was able to traverse a variety of obstacles without training. A group of researchers from Project Hoover showed tests of their hybrid tracked robot and multicopter. Tracked robots are known for their energy efficiency when transporting goods and good cross-country ability, but many obstacles they cannot overcome. On the other hand, multicopters can overcome distances regardless of the terrain, but they cannot carry a heavy load far. The Hoover robot takes the best from both platforms. The prototype, with dimensions of about 180 by 85 by 55 centimeters, weighs 23 kilograms and can take off thanks to 8 propellers. The robot can operate for up to 10 hours in tank mode and only 20 minutes in drone mode. The device can move autonomously or be controlled by an operator. The robot's equipment includes a Sony 4K optical camera, thermal imager, Galileo satellite navigation system, LiDAR, and NVIDIA Jetson AGX Xavier microprocessor. A YouTube user named Curtis Lucas posted a video of his projects. According to Curtis, he owns a small cleaning business and is having a lot of trouble hiring staff. To partially solve this problem, Lucas, with no background in robotics, began building his own commercial cleaning robots. He now has robots costing less than $2,000 each that sweep and mop floors and vacuum carpets. The robots work autonomously and communicate through a Bluetooth app that Lucas also created. He also designed a disinfecting robot. Engineers at the ETH Zurich continue to experiment with the Animal robot. In a new video, they showed how a new real-time full-body planner works with a four-legged robot with a manipulator whose main task is to avoid collisions while performing various tasks. The robot performed all tasks autonomously. The developers only set goals for it. It is worth noting that the animal coped with everything very well. Rylab Keist engineers presented their development. It is a movement learning structure in which the control policy and the state estimator are trained simultaneously. The structure consists of a policy network that outputs desired joint positions and a state estimator network that outputs estimates of parameters such as baseline linear speed, foot height, and probability of contact. Engineers used a rapid simulation environment to train the networks, which were passed on to the actual robot. The system allows any quadruped to traverse different terrains such as a hill, a slippery slab, and a bumpy road. Chinese company Deep Robotics unveiled a video of another test of its Zhuying X20 robot. By gradually loading the robot, engineers demonstrated its ability to carry up to 85 kilograms on itself. Such a load slowed the robot down, but did not stop it. The video demonstrates the reliability of the system, but still, the recommended load for Zhuying X20 is 20 kilograms. The robot can carry such a load for up to 2 hours, while without a payload, it can travel up to 4 hours at 5 meters per second. The company also published a fresh test of the Zhuying robot in the mud to show that it can work in bad weather conditions. By the way, the robot is also able to move on rocks, gravel, grass, step over 20-centimeter obstacles, and climb mountains with a slope of up to 30 degrees. The Tesla plant near Berlin finally received permission for an official launch. Despite protests of eco-activists, local authorities finally approved the commission of the plant, which is set to produce up to 500,000 electric cars per year. But public organizations can still challenge the decision. Plus, in order to start the assembly line, Musk will still have to wait for confirmation from the local industry regulator of the plant's compliance with air emissions and water use requirements. All in all, despite the approval, the plant's launch date is still impossible to predict. Panasonic has announced its plans to buy a plot of land in the US and build a large plant there to produce a new type of battery for Tesla electric cars. According to media reports, the plant could be built either in Oklahoma or in Kansas, not far from Texas, where Tesla is building a new electric car plant. According to earlier announcements, Panasonic was going to start mass production of Type 46 by 80mm lithium-ion batteries for Tesla in March 2024 at 2 new production lines in Japan. These batteries are about 5 times larger than the ones used in Elon Musk's electric cars now. The increased size and density will help reduce production costs and increase the range of electric cars. Elon Musk refused to block Russian state media on the Starlink network, which he traditionally announced via Twitter. Quote, "Some governments, not Ukraine, have ordered Starlink to block Russian news resources. We will not do that, except at gunpoint. Excuse me for being an advocate of absolute freedom of speech," Musk wrote. Cybercriminals hacked NVIDIA and made one of the most unusual demands ever: to allow NVIDIA video cards to mine cryptocurrencies faster. That is, to remove a feature known as light hash rate that limits the power of GPUs when mining cryptocurrencies. If the company does not agree, hackers promise to leak the schematics and source code of NVIDIA's drivers and firmware online. The California Public Utilities Commission has issued permits to Cruise and Waymo to deploy their driverless robot cabs, which allow both companies to charge customers for their services. Cruise's permit allows its cars to operate on certain public roads in San Francisco from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. at speeds of up to 30 miles per hour. Waymo will be able to operate on certain roads in San Francisco and San Mateo counties at any time of the day or night at speeds of up to 65 miles per hour. That said, neither company will be allowed to operate during heavy fog or heavy rain. Yandex, on the other hand, was forced to stop testing robotic cabs in Michigan. Since the spring, the company's 7 robocars have been running there. Yandex's robocars were delivering food to university campuses in Ohio and Arizona as part of a joint project with Grubhub. About 100 Yandex rovers will be shipped to the countries where the company continues to operate. Well, that's all we have for today. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, ring that bell, and don't miss any new episodes from the world of high tech. We'll see you again next time.
Tesla officially opened its first European Gigafactory Berlin and handed over the first 30 Model Y cars to customers. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, several officials, and Tesla CEO Elon Musk attended the opening. Musk did the victory dance, by the way, as per his earlier promise. The plant already employs about 3,000 people, and Gigafactory Berlin will create a total of 12,000 jobs. The plant has projected a capacity of 500,000 electric cars per year, but that's still in the future. In addition to the crossover, Gigafactory Berlin will assemble the Model 3, as well as produce batteries and powertrains. The Japanese robot Asimo has been retired. Having ceased development of the robot in 2018, the company gave it to Honda Welcome Plaza Aoyama, where the robot worked as a guide, tour guide, and entertainer, showing its tricks in a special show. In all, the robot has performed more than 15,000 times over the years. But this year, the robot's 20-year run came to an end, and it was ceremoniously retired. The robot received a letter of thanks from the director of the museum, a bouquet of flowers, and showed everything it could do one last time. The company Anybotics introduced the Animal X, the world's first explosion-proof robot on its feet. The robot is designed to work in oil and gas and chemical industries. The company's announcement indicates that the new product extends the mobility, autonomy, and intelligence of Anybotics' robotic inspection solution, and is specifically designed and certified for safe use in potentially explosive environments, a game changer in the industry. The Robotics Systems Laboratory of Zurich University of Technology showed a new batch of results from its reinforced learning system for 4-legged robots on wheels. The robot was taught several new skills and movement styles at once in the simulation. The company's engineers told us that learning multiple skills at once almost does not reduce the speed or performance of learning. In this experiment, the robot was trained in parallel to walk and crouch, as well as switching from 4-legged to a humanoid form of movement. The results of the laboratory researchers are, as always, impressive. The German company Festo, famous for its bio-inspired robots, introduced the 3D Cocooner Robotics Spider, which weaves 3-dimensional structures from fiberglass. This time, instead of copying the appearance of the robot from a biological prototype, the engineers used an EXPT-45 robot arm equipped with a special extruder, which feeds glass fiber and special adhesive. It hardens under ultraviolet light, fixing the construction, and the excess parts are cut off with a circular saw. At the same time, the material can be softened again to complete the design anywhere. Designs constructions for 3D Cocooner, a computer with special software that evaluates all the characteristics of the future work. The iCub research robot has a new version. It is larger, more powerful, and can be used as a complex telepresence platform with an effect of presence. The iCub 3 is 25 centimeters taller and weighs 19 kilograms more than the earlier version. Now reaching a height of 125 centimeters and weighing 52 kilograms, the robot has 54 degrees of freedom. To control the robot avatar in the video, the operator used the HTC Vive Pro i4 headset, Vive 5 face tracker, iFeel 6 touch and tactile suit, Sense Glove DK17 tactile gloves with Cyberynth Virtualizer Elite 28 optimal directional treadmill. Together, all of these allow you to retarget your manipulation, movement, voice, and even facial expressions from human to robot. Mimic retargeting is applied to the gaze and condition of the eyelids, as well as the user's mouth. At the same time, the user himself receives sound, an immersive first-person view, and a moderate amount of haptic feedback. The iCub 3 has a fairly high-resolution touch skin, but this translates into just a couple of specific vibration nodes that the user wears. That said, the haptic feedback on the hands isn't bad. There's force feedback on each finger and fingertip vibration motors. The DJI has introduced a new compact industrial drone, the M30, capable of flying in pouring rain. It is well protected against moisture and able to function in a wide temperature range. The M30 features a 48-megapixel half-inch CMOS sensor camera with 5x optical zoom and 200x digital zoom, as well as the 12-megapixel wide-angle camera. The drone shoots 8K photos and shoots 4K videos at 30 frames per second. Also in the arsenal is a laser rangefinder, capable of determining the exact distance to objects at a distance of 1,200 meters. The new M30T is equipped with a thermal imaging camera with a resolution of 640 by 512 pixels. It is equipped with a 6-position sensor that help avoid collisions with obstacles. The flight time of the M30 is 41 minutes, and the drone can be charged thanks to the robotic case with a built-in docking station, weather station, surveillance cameras, and antennas. Charging time is 25 minutes. The drone comes with a robotic storage case with built-in charging. The novelty will go on sale in the fourth quarter of 2022 and will cost from $10,000 for the basic version. Panasonic introduced an eco-robot Umos made of moss, which moves around the house in search of comfort. Its main task is to make your home or office greener and friendlier. The robot looks like a houseplant pot that moves around the room on its tiny tentacle legs on its own. The outside of the robot is covered in moss, which is common in Japan, but the main trick is in its smart functions. The device independently moves around the room in search of the most comfortable conditions for the plant. For example, in a sunny weather, the robot will find shade, and in wet fog, it becomes the most mobile and active. Also, robots are endowed with their own character, with their own features to evoke the feelings of animate nature and help people feel a connection with it. Global X ordered 200 eVTOLs from startup Eve Air Mobility to operate a new air cab service in suburban and urban areas of Miami. The quadcopters are scheduled to begin carrying passengers in 2026. The first route from Miami International Airport to downtown Miami Beach, where the city's tourist attraction and major hotels are located, will be up and running. Max Planck Institute for Intelligent Systems and the University of California has designed a very energy-efficient robot leg inspired by bird feet. In Bird's bot design, the foot is mechanically connected to the rest of the leg joints using cables and pulleys. Each leg contains only 2 motors, a hip motor that swings the leg forward and backward, and a small motor that bends the knee joint to lift the leg. A system that mimics muscles and tendons coordinates the folding of the foot during the transfer phase and helps the robot stand without expending energy. Because of this, the design requires fewer motors than a standard humanoid robot leg and can theoretically scale up to larger sizes. The invasion of 4-legged robots continues. Thus, Mab Robotics has unveiled yet another RoboPass. It is reported that Honey Badger is a lightweight and compact design with a water and dust-proof housing. The robot can work without additional sensors, such as cameras or LiDAR. In this case, the direction and speed is set by the operator, while the robot decides how to move the legs and keep the balance. The quadruped has all the software and hardware, and its goal is to become a versatile carrier platform capable of performing inspections and maintenance tasks, especially in hard-to-reach underground infrastructures such as water and sewer networks and mines. Toy manufacturer Takaratomi has partnered with the Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency to develop a miniature robot for lunar exploration. The Lunar Excursion Vehicle 2 robot will be mounted on a slim landing platform and launched into space. After landing, the robot will transform from a sphere into a small rover and will go study the surface of the moon, record its actions in the logbook of operations, and transmit photos to Earth. No word yet on the launch date for the mission. Engineers at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology have taught the mini cheetah robot to run faster than a human using simulation. A new machine learning system with reinforcement allowed the robot to learn and run at the limit of its hardware capabilities, taking into account the changing environment and unpredictable factors such as failure of one leg or a slippery surface. By learning in simulation, the robot can accumulate the experience of 100 days of testing just by standing still in place for 3 hours. As a result, Mini Cheetah learned to traverse various terrains and obstacles, and to run at a record speed of 3.9 meters per second for its design. Researchers from Carnegie Mellon University developed a robot training system with a minimum of sensors and equipment. Instead of control gloves with multiple sensors, they used a single camera. The camera captures human movements or even video of the desired movements, and artificial intelligence converts the two-dimensional image into an algorithm of actions for the robot arm, taking into account its size and design. In other words, with such a system, any manipulator can learn new actions by watching YouTube videos. The James Webb Telescope has completed its calibration and sent the first photo of a star in the Dragon constellation of the Milky Way, nearly 2,000 light-years from Earth. Here's a Hubble telescope photo of the same star for comparison. In fact, it's the highest resolution infrared image ever taken from space. Recall that the James Webb Telescope consists of 18 large gold mirrors that collect light from the cosmic sources and focus in on an image sensor. Launched into space as folded, the apparatus is now still in the process of fully deploying and calibrating all systems. Tentatively, the first truly scientific data will be available this July. On the eve of the first flight of Starship from Elon Musk, NASA for the first time rolled out to the launch pad its long-standing project, the Super Heavy Rocket SLS, or Space Launch System, which is planned to be used for the first unmanned launch of the Orion spacecraft. It took 10.5 hours to get the rocket to the launch pad on tracked transporters. Now SLS will check all systems and a wet dress rehearsal, during which will be practiced all the actions necessary to prepare for the launch of the NASA Artemis mission. Based on the results of these tests, the agency will decide on the date of the upcoming launch. As a reminder, the first launch of the launch vehicle was supposed to take place back in 2016, but has since been continuously postponed. Tokyo Institute of Technology, a collaboration with the Museum of Robot Research, has unveiled a Smart Life Cafe cooking robot project that uses a pair of Denso Waves Kubota industrial collaborative arms. The system is not limited to pancakes. It can brew matcha tea, make traditional Japanese sweets such as rice cake, as well as Western treats such as popcorn and more. So far, it is an experimental development and the robot does not do everything, but it still looks surprisingly nimble. Rostec has developed the Jupiter Complex, designed to organize drone flights in urban environments. The solution was tested using 5G technologies in the experimental urban air mobility zone in Skokolvo. The complex provides the necessary functions for drone flight planning, information support, registration, accounting, identification, authorization, geofencing, surveillance, and monitoring. In addition, the system issues alerts in case of deviation from the route, dangerous approach to the infrastructure objects, or other aircraft. In the future, Jupiter will make it possible to establish delivery in the cities with help of drones, and maybe even the work of air cab services. Adam Savage recently delighted fans with a new invention, an instant reaction hat that fires darts at a targeted point by the device's laser guidance. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, and don't miss the new releases from the world of high technology.